Hello everyone, welcome to So Happy with Senna. How are you all doing? I trust you all had a wonderful holiday and I wish you all a very blessed and prosperous new year ahead. And I have a week off this week, so I am super excited about that because it gives me chance to, relax. And I've been working, and I'm so damn exhausted. And so also I'm always happy when I do videos from home. It's more relaxing and everything. Yeah, so well, today's video is about not cutting out, sewing the walkaway dress, which is the Butterick 4790. And the last video that I made, I spoke about the cutting and demonstrated a bit of the cutting of the fabric out and stuff like that. So today would be, because I've gone ahead and cheated a bit, I felt that, just doing the sewing, I try to not want the videos to be boring. So I've done a bit of the sewing, practically quite a bit of it. And so I just want to use this opportunity to show the notions, because the last time I didn't show what notions I was going to be using. So that's what I'm going to show, and then I'll show the dress as well. So here we go. So here are my notions. The pattern calls for bias binding, and of course lots of it. I felt that with the fabric, I wanted a red bias binding, and that is what was presented on the online, because I bought this online. When it came, it was kind of like a maroony color. I don't know if my lighting is good enough. That's one thing I need to get sorted. I need to learn how to use my lighting properly. Anyhow, so this is the color that came, and that's what I get. I suppose when you order things online, you don't exactly know what you're getting. So yeah, so this is kind of like a maroon color, but then at the same time on the fabric there are black squares, black and white squares sort of, and in the black squares there are tiny circles of maroon color. So maybe this might work, yeah. Then they also wanted some snaps, 3/8 of an inch snaps, and I bought buttons, black buttons. I can't find them, so these are just some buttons I'll use temporarily. I've also got some maroon colored buttons here as well, just to see if that would work. So basically this pattern doesn't really require much by way of notion. So it's basically, and then I also have elastic here, and I'll tell you about that. So this video the next video is going to be about presenting the garment. And in that video I will speak about the challenges that I had, and all the adjustments and modifications that I needed to do to make the garment fit properly. So basically, these are and I will also speak about why I use the elastic in that video, because it's not part of the notions for that the pattern calls for. So basically these are what I've got: the buttons, the snaps, the bias binding, and then the elastic. So I'm going to get the dress now, and I will show you what I've done so far. So basically I've gone ahead and done a lot of sewing on the dress. I've actually even attached the bias binding to most of it. I've got just the neck part to do, and the part with this is supposed to be stitched, or is to be stitched in a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. So I've done basically following the sewing instructions. I've done, I've stitched the darts, and the center front darts, to be honest, I took them off, and I will explain that in the next video. But I have done the darts on the front, the bust darts, and then the darts at the back as well. I've done that, and then of course I've pressed as I've gone along, pressing all my seams out as I went along. And then I have stitched the lower front and back, lower skirt. Okay, so this is the lower skirt. Let's see where that is. Sometimes it's difficult to know where you are. This is the lower skirt. The lower skirt here. And then of course I stitched the center, because they wanted me to stitch the lower skirt and front, back and front piece together. So that's what I've already done. Sorry that I've already done it, but I felt it would be less boring and all that, less also time consuming as well. Then I have, after I stitched the front and back lower skirt pieces together, then they wanted a stay stitching on the skirt bit of it. So they wanted a stay stitch on the upper edge of the front and back, which is this area here, which I did. And then stitch lower front and back to the upper back. Okay, so let me find the upper back. So this is the upper back. This is the upper back, and then it's to be stitched to the lower, to the skirt. So I did that as well, after which they wanted me to stitch the back and the front at shoulders. So I stitched, this is the front bit, and then this is now the entire back of it. Hope you can see it properly. So now the whole garment is joined together. All the three pieces are joined together. I will show you what I did to the front part, because the front part is meant to be left, the front part, that, and then the back, because it goes to the back and it's supposed to wrap to the back. But for my case, it didn't work for me, so I did something else, which I will actually be showing you when I present the garment, all the adjustments I made, modifications, and things like that. So I have put the garment together, and then I've got to the point where it says stitch binding, stitch on the binding. So I have stitched the binding, and this is what the binding looks like against the fabric. I think maybe it would have looked better if the bias binding were deeper red as opposed to the maroon. But then, like I said, if you look closely, you would see maroon. You would see that within the black, sorry, with all the thread all over the place, you see within the black squares, there are small maroon circles, which I feel kind of goes with the maroon bias binding. So I'll just take it like that. And after all, when I started this, I really didn't know how it's going to turn out. I still don't know what the finished. And another reason why I decided to put the garment together eventually is that I had to make numerous fittings to the. I had to make numerous fittings, taking it off, putting it on, adjusting here, adjusting there, and all that. That was taking a lot of time, and I'm thinking, you know what, let me just start putting it together, because after all, in order for me to know whether it's going to work or not, I need to have a good idea as to what it looks like when it's stitched together. So that's the reason why I did that. And then, so now I've only got the neck binding to do, which I will demonstrate a bit right now. Which I will demonstrate a bit right now as I put the bias binding on the neck edge. And then the next video I would show the rest of the process. So just give me a moment. So I've got my bias binding ready. I folded it a little bit in towards me. And I know this is quite a wide bias binding. I think they wanted, they wanted double fold. Anyhow, it's wide, but it suits me just fine because it gives me more room to maneuver. So I found I could either do it on the, anyway, I found an arm, the shoulder edge. I'm pinning it onto on the seam line, more or less. And then I am going to pin it. Did I mention I'm placing it right sides together, right side of the bias binding to the right side of the fabric? Basically, I'm just going to be stitching in 3/8 of an inch. I couldn't be asked. That's just what I'm gonna do. Think which lines up with the edge of the, I'm using my Singer machine today, not the other ones. I just felt it needs to be used. It's just sitting there half the time not doing anything, so why not? So bias binding, here we come. Yeah, so there's been quite a number of adjustments I needed to make. I hope this thing stitches. It seems as if I noticed a lot of fluff, so I think I need to clean it out. Yeah, so this is me stitching on the neck bias binding for the neck area, and I will be telling you whether I will be making this design again or not. Of course, depending on the turnout, the outcome. So, and like I said, just watching me stitch this would make you bored. So after this, then it's the, I didn't also mention that I had to do the hemming, because you have to do the hemming before you put the bias binding on. So I did the hemming, and even that I made some adjustments to it. So, and I will be telling you what I did in the next video. So after this, then it comes the putting on the snaps and finishing touches to it. So I hope you're also, thank you to all who have reached out regarding this walkaway dress. Some of you are making yours as well, and I just can't wait. I hope that you will show what you've done. I would love to see your dress as well, and happy sewing to anyone who has made a dress and is going to a party. Kindly invite me to also show off my dress. That is, if mine turns out okay, if mine ends up being something to write home about, and then we'll all have a walk away dress party. Yay! That would be nice. So anyway, for now, lots of love, happy sewing, and see you in the next video. Bye.